and welcome back to Spekd. Today we're going to be looking at Warhammer Conquest issue number 27, and it's still $7.99. I'm going to get this open, we'll have a look at the sprue. And what we have here is some clean looking sprues, and these are the old sprues, so they're 2006, you can see there. And I mean, they look alright, they look good. No problems, no issues. Now for your Death Guard player, this is your first main vehicle that you're going to be getting. I know that you've got the Malefic Blight holders over there, as you can see, but this is your first main vehicle. It is a brilliant transport to get your characters and models across the board, as your characters tend to move very slowly. So this is really good. It's a good little model. I am surprised that they packed this all in one magazine. I thought they would have done this over a few magazines. Now the upgrade sprue, which comes in the next magazine, which we'll talk about when we do that, is kind of handy, but at the end of the day, it's not a necessity. So you could use this for your Space Marine chapter as well. Okay, so that's the sprue. It's quite clean, as you can see, and it's ready to go. I'll have fun building that. I think I'll build that with a little one. Let's get to the magazine. With our issue 27, we are going to be looking at the Rhino. It is a useful vehicle. They've been around for ages. They're so dependent and reliable, and they can constantly be reworked and repaired. They're brilliant. If you think of APCs, the armored personnel characters, this is the 41st millennium version of that. So what have we got? We've got our Rhino's history, Death Guard, Chronicles, Angelic Vengeance. So we're going to get to see the Dark Angels, which is another chapter if you're being followed along for the Space Marines. We get to look at Death Guard Rhino build and Blockade, which is a mission. And this is what I was talking about before. Do you remember I said I wanted to see stats on things to see what they can do? This is great. This reminds me of when I was little, being a kid and seeing these kind of things on the top trumps. This is great. This is great. I hope they keep this format. And they kind of give you like a quick brief here. That's fantastic. Okay, so with the Rhinos, they are so reliable and they're so multifunctional that they basically add weapons to the top of this base template, and it can do a variety of different things, so they can equip it in different ways. And right there you can see a Rhino and a Razorback, which they have less transport capabilities, but they have a lot more heavier weapons, as you can see there. So let's move on. Markings and heraldry. This just gives me a kind of memory there, I'm just thinking. So it's really good to mark up your Rhinos. It's really handy for you to be able to tell what's in them. And that's just the same as what I spoke about last time with your, on your data sheets, there's a logo on the top right hand corner. That kind of tells you what's inside that Rhino. It can make it very easy for the opponents to target them, but when you're playing at a distance, it can help you be a lot quicker as you play. I remember one time I was actually playing using my Blood Angels Rhino, and I had this tactical mark on it, and what I actually did was I turned it round, and my opponent was playing Blood Angels as well, and he fired off all of the other vehicles, and he went to fire my vehicles like his last part of the shooting phase. He thought it was like, yeah, closer to that model, you know, because he thought we already moved it in position, and I was happy to remind him that actually it was my Rhino. So he couldn't shoot with it. I mean, I still lost the game, but it was like that little cheeky move it was a great cheeky tactic. It doesn't always work, but it's fun. It only works if you're playing someone that's playing like the same army as you. Like you turn your vehicles backwards and they think it's them facing you, and you just remind them when they get ready to shoot it's not actually theirs. It's for themes, it works really good with Genestealer Cult versus Astra Militarum, but those are another two armies. Okay, so we've got our markings there, our chapters, our company markings, and our campaign badges. If you remember my Tyranid Puncher, I put one of these badges on his knees. So it's well worth just marking down, just for fun, just for campaign building. Just so you can give like a legendary story to your vehicle, and you'll smile to yourself, or you know, it's this great kind of icebreaker and story when you explain it to other people, like what it's for. So this is what I was talking about with the Rhino chassis. It has different kind of weapon profiles you can add to it. So if you have to go out and buy these, you'll buy them, or you can just buy them as sets which actually have these in already. I've got quite a few Predators because it's Blood Angel vehicle, really, a Battle Predator. But it is a very versatile vehicle. I mean, you could just go out and buy what you actually want, and then when you're using them as just transport items, you could just remove the weaponry. And most people recognise that it is a Rhino. So continue here, we have our transport. Rhinos are the things to have, to especially get these models across the board. I think I've already mentioned that because they are quite slow moving. So that's why a lot of armies go back to a battlefield just to reclaim these Rhinos, to repair them. We get AdMech going back just to alter them, get them back up and running. And they are just, they could hold objectives, they could transport troops, they could take a charge, they can charge and distract enemies. They're brilliant. So again, we have Legion Design Works there. So you're going to get these on your upgrade sprues. You don't have to use all of them. And I remember my first Rhino, or actually it was a Land Raider, I put every single chaos marker on it possible. It wasn't necessary, but it looked good. It says here, capture their vehicles, let the tools of the Corpse Emperor be turned against his false dominion. That tells you how important they are. Here we have more chronicles, so the effects of the war, how the Death Guard have spread throughout the galaxy. And these, you could use these as your own kind of narrative basis. You can play your own missions, and even though your results may vary, so you know, it might be the case that your Space Marines win these battles, it doesn't make any difference. It's a small battle in the overall war, and you know, this was the end result, or play it as you want. But it's so much fun to have like a narrative to play to, and you start to value narratives a lot more as you play it. For veterans, it can be hard after a while to come up with narratives to keep things fresh. I mean, you know, you could just pick one of these and play, because quite often you can get caught up in saying the same narrative all the time. Like, you know, the Dark Angels have suspected X doing something wrong and they're gone there to fight. You know what? Have a little bit of fun with that. And that's like the fluff and lore playing together quite nicely. Angelic Vengeance, this speaks about the Dark Angels and their very secretive set. They have their reasons for it, I'm not going to spoil it. But they're not as much stealth mode, they're just very secretive about everything. But they've definitely got their reasons too. And that's a nice little intro to it. So building, when you come to building your Rhino, do yourself a favour. Make sure you get an elastic band just to wrap around the whole Rhino and keep it in place and together. If you do get a little kind of line here, little gap line, do yourself a favour. You can use a plastic glue just to run over that area really quickly and just smooth it down, and it kind of almost knits. Or you can use green stuff, and that's like a mixture plasticine thing that you can put in there, and it goes kind of hard, almost like clay. Just make sure you smooth it out before you let it dry. Right, so this sprue, which we don't have in this magazine, which we get in the next one, is all the upgrade items for Chaos. So this turns it into a Chaos Rhino. You can see here it has the Chaos Bolter here to put on there, so it's a combi bolter. If you want to make it like an Imperium Land Raider, don't put any of these items on there. Maybe just the, you know, the open hatches. But if you remember the containers, they came with these bolters. You could stick this on because it's an Imperial bolter just to replace this one. And by the looks of it, the attachment looks almost the same. So you could use that instead. Just making that a comparative there. So it's got putting them together, adding on additional bits. I mean, even these, you don't have to, even though it's a Chaos Rhino, these don't have to go on there. You can use those as additional items, like roadblock items, or, you know, barricades. You can see like this from the other issue. This was just painted up, just using literally a tissue and just dabbed in paint. So these pieces of terrain just take seconds. You can do the same with that. And I would say, if you're doing this with the Death Guard kind of like a tank here, to do the same. You want to make it look rusted and decayed. More symbols, more items. So you can see there's quite a lot of options there to upgrade, but you can use these as kind of like bits for modding. So rather than, what can I say, just use them on the tank, you can use these on character models to make them stand out more from the others. We can see here as well, they're actually telling you not to use the Korn logo or Slanesh, or Zinch or Slanesh's icons. They're just telling you to use Nurgle's one, which is right there, and all the other Chaos ones. That's handy to know. They've not done a bad job there. But you'll have to definitely keep this for the following item, otherwise you might forget where things go. So I've got a Blockade Mission here, Contested Warzone. I feel like it's kind of heating up. Things are getting bigger and better, which means that we're probably going to get a new map fairly soon. And that new map would expand the area, and I'm hoping by the end of this they get to a 6x4, which is a standard size of a battle table. So here we've got some more lore and information, and the actual mission itself. And the mission there, we don't have all of the models included in this battle, but it is quite a fair little bit. And remember, if you're playing these with your buddy and you've been buying the magazines, just remember to switch sides. Just so you give it a go. If you can get used to the opponent's weaponry and items, you know how they work best, you'll understand how to defend from them best. It is worth it. It's not too bad. Okay, so our usual closeout there. And what have we got next? We have the painting and all the additional upgrade items for the Rhino, the Chaos Rhino, and then we have our Space Marine officers. This magazine, I've actually ordered more than one because I managed to get these pre-ordered, and it's really going to be something that I'm going to do a giveaway on, because I think this is a really good issue. The value for money is quite high in this. But rather than go on about that, overall I think this is a nice little vehicle to have alongside your others. It really has tactical kind of advantage. Its usage, it has great template usage as well, because you can do so many different things with it. And it's good to get used to transporting. I didn't see much in there about the way of kind of utilizing it fully. It might be the next magazine, but either way. What I have here is the Death Guard army that we've got so far, which we've kind of been collecting and building. And you can see it's quite a lot. There are one or two models that need repair, as they're missing. But someone did ask to see how I've kind of got on with this model, and this is where I am at the moment. I haven't got my magic zoom in camera. But as you can see there, I've kind of like coloured in the maggots on the back there on his cape, and coloured in the chaos orb, whatever he's holding there, which is just leaking. And it's got the same kind of patina sheen as the other Terminators there. So that kind of brings that all together, so you know where I am at this moment. Alright, well, I'll say is thank you very much for your time. I've enjoyed my time as always. This has been Spekd. Make sure to share the video if you want to. Like it if you want to. I'm not going to stress you out about that. Put a comment below. I love seeing what you have to say about this. PC